The Brooklyn bishop, who was seen back in 2022 being robbed inside of his church for something around $1 million worth of jewelry, and who was also convicted in March of wire fraud, attempted extortion, and making false statements to federal law enforcement agents in New York City. Lamar Whitehead is a bishop of the Leaders of Tomorrow's International Ministry Church, and he made headlines in July of 2022 when some armed robbers robbed him and his wife for $1 million worth of jewelry during a live stream service. The U.S. Attorney describes Bishop Whitehead as a con man who stole millions of dollars in a string of financial frauds and even stole from one of his own church members. He lied to federal agents and again to the court at his trial. But today, Monday, he was sentenced, and that put an end to his schemes and his abuse of his position and of his trust. Bishop Whitehead was also sentenced to 3 years of supervised release and ordered to pay $85,000 in restitution and forfeit $95,000, prosecutors said. Attorney Don Floro said in a Monday statement, Bishop Whitehead is innocent and vowed his legal fight is not over. This preacher, Bishop Whitehead, lived a flashy lifestyle, and he was known for driving around in a Rolls Royce. And records also show that he lived in a $1.6 million home in New Jersey, and he also owned apartment buildings in Hartford, Connecticut. Bishop Whitehead convinced one of his church members to invest about $90,000 from her retirement savings with him by promising he would help her buy a home. Prosecutors said he spent that money on luxury goods and personal expenses and did not pay her back when she asked. He also extorted a businessman for $5,000, prosecutors said, and tried to convince the same man to lend him $500,000 in a real estate transaction in return for favorable actions from the mayor of New York City. But the bishop could not deliver on the promises that he made. He also submitted a fraudulent application for a $250,000 business loan that included doctored up statements that claimed he had millions of dollars in the bank and earned hundreds of thousands of dollars in monthly revenue. The bishop submitted fraudulent applications to various other financial institutions, stealing millions of dollars in the process. So people, this is the story that I actually reported on back in July of 2022 when it first happened, when he got robbed on a live stream at his church. And also when the news came out about him conning one of his churchgoers out of her $90,000 and refused to pay her back. And that's what sparked this whole situation. When he got robbed on the live stream, that's when all of his dirty deeds came out. And that's what allowed this case to take place. And finally today, on June the 17th, a Monday, they convicted the bling bling bishop. But at the same time, it just goes to show people, whatever your faith belief is, you're supposed to believe in that higher power, not man. Because if you believe in the Most High God, even in the Bible it says, don't put your trust in man, put your trust in me. But what happens? People go to these churches and these other institutions and they start to get mesmerized and wowed by the person that's up there teaching or verbally grooming you, should we say, to get you out of your money. That's why also in the Bible it says in the New Testament that they preach to my people for filthy lucre's sake. Filthy lucre meaning for filthy money. So basically, biblically, it's saying that they preach to my people for money. And this is what they do. That's why we have a thing called prosperity doctrine. And they use that to get people out of their money. And we know the older people, they're extra religious and they really believe that God is going to bless them for blessing their preacher or I help the preacher. He's the closest thing to the Most High, just the same like with the Pope. What do they call him? The Victor or something? Meaning he's the closest thing to God that you're going to get to. And that's why so many people go bow down to him, kiss his hand, kiss his feet, because they truly believe that he's the closest thing to the Most High God. But if God created human beings, that means we're all just as close as the next person. We have to be careful out here, people, because we are in the era where people are trying to get big money. Everybody want to have millions so they can live comfortable, allegedly, and just have a good life. And you never know what they're willing to do to get that good life. How far are you willing to go to be a millionaire? Are you willing to kill for it, steal for it, rob for it? Case in point, definitely willing to lie and rob for it, because he lied for it and he robbed for it and he stole for it. He stole this woman's money because he knew that she was a core believer of his. She knew that she believed everything that her bishop stood for, and that's why she was willing to invest her money. And you see, she got the short end of the stick. At least he did get punished for his crime. He got his 9 years. But it's a sad thing that people will go through those great lengths to be successful or to live comfortable. They'll step on other people. You know, it's a dirty game out here. But it's a blessing that the lady did get her justice from this pastor that misused her and misused the congregation. So people, be careful. Don't put your trust in man. Put your trust in God first, and your trust in yourself second. And with that, I'm going to say this is the news in you. North, east, west, south, unite from every alley in Cali, intersection and back street. Subscribe to the channel and hit the thumbs up on your way out the door.
Star Child, I never